Have you ever stopped to think about how your kidneys are working for you right now, even as you sit and listen to this message? Every second, these two fist-sized organs are filtering your blood, balancing your fluids, removing waste, and keeping your body alive without asking for any recognition. And yet, millions of people are quietly destroying their kidneys every single day without even realizing it. The truth is, kidney disease doesn't start with flashing alarms or sudden pain. It's often called a silent killer because by the time symptoms appear, the damage is already advanced. That's why awareness matters so much. The things we choose to eat, drink, and ignore can slowly wear down the very organs that keep us alive. One of the biggest culprits is salt. Now, I'm not talking about a pinch of salt on your food. I'm talking about the hidden salt in processed snacks, frozen meals, fast food, and even so-called healthy packaged products. Too much salt raises your blood pressure, and high blood pressure quietly destroys kidney tissue over time. Imagine turning up the water pressure in a fragile hose. It won't burst today, but over time, the damage is inevitable. And then there are sugary drinks. That soda or energy drink you reach for doesn't just spike your blood sugar. It forces your kidneys to process more sugar and handle the extra strain. Books like Salt, Sugar, Fat remind us how addictive these products are designed to be, and how destructive they can be when consumed daily. Dehydration is another silent enemy. Too many people walk around every day without enough water in their system. When your body is thirsty, your kidneys are forced to concentrate toxins in smaller amounts of fluid. It's like running a washing machine on half the water. It strains the system. Over years, that stress adds up. Painkillers are another overlooked danger. Yes, they bring temporary relief, but overusing them, especially certain over-the-counter drugs, can scar kidney tissue. It's like scratching the same spot over and over until it bleeds. The damage doesn't always show up today, but it builds quietly. We can't forget the impact of ignoring bigger conditions like high blood pressure and diabetes. These two alone account for most kidney failures worldwide. If you neglect them, you're essentially giving kidney disease a green light to progress unchecked. And what about sleep or stress? People underestimate how much rest and recovery matter. When you rob your body of deep sleep or push yourself under constant stress, your kidneys miss their natural repair cycles. As one book, Why We Sleep, points out, restorative sleep isn't a luxury. It's survival. Your kidneys need that downtime too. But here's the good news. Protecting your kidneys doesn't take massive, overwhelming change. It takes consistent small choices. Drink more clean water. Eat whole foods with less salt and sugar. Limit painkiller use. Keep blood pressure and blood sugar under control. Value your rest and your peace of mind. These choices are like deposits into a savings account. Your kidney health grows stronger, and your future becomes more secure. The most dangerous thing you can do is believe that nothing is happening because you feel fine today. Kidneys don't shout, they whisper. And if you don't listen to those whispers, one day the silence will be deafening. So, I'll ask you again, are your daily choices protecting your kidneys? Or are they slowly destroying them? The answer is in your hands, and the time to change is now, before silence turns into regret. Have you ever wondered why so many people only start paying attention to their kidneys when something goes wrong? It's human nature. We don't think about what's quietly keeping us alive until it begins to fail. The heart gets attention because it beats loudly in our chest. The brain gets attention because it controls our thoughts and memories. But the kidneys, they're silent workers. They don't complain loudly. They don't grab the spotlight. And that's exactly why so many people end up neglecting them until it's too late. Think about it. These two small, bean-shaped organs, each about the size of your fist, filter around 50 gallons of blood every single day. Imagine that, 50 gallons. They remove toxins, excess waste, and balance minerals like sodium, potassium, and calcium, all while regulating blood pressure, producing hormones that make red blood cells, and keeping bones strong. And here's the shocking truth. Even when one kidney fails completely, the other can keep you alive without symptoms for a long time. That's both a blessing and a curse. A blessing because of the resilience, but a curse because it allows silent damage to creep in unnoticed. Now let's go deeper into the choices that silently destroy kidney health. Let's start with something that almost every person encounters daily: salt. Salt is woven into culture, into tradition, into the way we prepare food. A little salt, in moderation, is necessary for life. Without sodium, your nerves wouldn't fire and your muscles wouldn't contract. But here's the issue. Our modern world is drowning in salt. Packaged chips, soups, sauces, instant noodles, canned food, they're loaded with it. Some so-called healthy. Breakfast cereals even have hidden salt. And when your body is constantly flooded with excess sodium, your blood pressure rises. High blood pressure is like turning up the pressure in your home's plumbing system. The pipes don't burst right away, but tiny cracks form, joints weaken, and over time, the system gives out. Your kidneys are those pipes filtering blood under higher and higher force until delicate vessels rupture and scar. And here's the heartbreaking reality. Most people don't notice this damage until the kidneys are already severely impaired. Now let's talk about sugar. Not just table sugar, but all forms: high fructose corn syrup in sodas, refined carbs in white bread and pastries, and the endless candy bars that people reach for when they're tired. Your kidneys are designed to handle a steady, natural flow of nutrients from whole foods. They are not designed to manage constant spikes of glucose and insulin. Every time you down a soda, you're flooding your bloodstream with sugar, forcing the kidneys to work harder. Over time, this overwhelms them and contributes to a condition known as diabetic nephropathy. This isn't just a medical term. It's one of the leading causes of kidney failure worldwide. And here's the cruel cycle: sugar cravings create more cravings. Books like Salt, Sugar, Fat expose how food companies design products to keep you hooked. So it's not just personal weakness, it's industry manipulation. But no matter how powerful that pull feels, the price of giving in day after day is kidney failure, dialysis, and in too many cases, early death. Water, on the other hand, is life. Yet, how many people go through an entire day barely drinking a single glass? Dehydration doesn't always mean your mouth is dry. Even mild dehydration forces the kidneys to concentrate urine, squeezing out waste in a dense, acidic fluid. Do this day after day, and you increase your risk of kidney stones, sharp, painful crystals that can lodge in the urinary tract. But that's just the beginning. Long-term dehydration puts constant stress on the kidneys, making them vulnerable to infection, scarring, and eventually failure. I often ask people, would you run your car without oil? Would you let the engine grind dry until it overheats? Of course not. And yet, millions of people do exactly that to their kidneys every single day by neglecting to drink enough clean water. Let's move to another overlooked destroyer, painkillers. Aspirin, ibuprofen, naproxen. These are over-the-counter drugs many people pop like candy. They bring relief from headaches, sore muscles, and back pain. But here's the problem. They reduce blood flow to the kidneys. Imagine a plant in your garden. Cut back its water supply day after day, and it may look fine for a while, but eventually the leaves wilt and the roots die. Painkillers starve the kidneys in the same way. Occasional use may not be catastrophic, but chronic overuse slowly scars kidney tissue until entire sections shut down. Some people discover this only after blood tests reveal advanced kidney damage, damage that cannot be reversed. High blood pressure and diabetes are the two titans of kidney destruction. They're like slow-moving bulldozers, clearing everything in their path, while people are distracted by life's daily noise. Both conditions are silent, especially in their early stages. And when ignored, they tear apart the microscopic filters inside the kidneys called nephrons. Each kidney contains about 1 million nephrons, and once a nephron is destroyed, it cannot regenerate. You don't feel the loss. You don't notice the decline until enough of them are gone, and suddenly your body can no longer clean itself. At that point, the options shrink to dialysis or a transplant, both of which come with immense challenges. But there's more. Stress and sleep. Most people underestimate their power. When you're stressed, your body releases hormones like cortisol and adrenaline. In the short term, these help you deal with threats. But in the long term, they keep blood pressure elevated, blood sugar high, and inflammation roaring throughout the body. All of these damage the kidneys. And when you rob yourself of sleep, you rob your kidneys of their natural reset time. During deep rest, the body repairs blood vessels, balances hormones, and restores immune function. Without that, the kidneys continue running without recovery, like a machine that never gets turned off. Books like Why We Sleep remind us that rest is not optional. It's the foundation of long life. So how do we turn this around? The answer is not in drastic, unrealistic overhauls. The answer is in daily choices that accumulate over years. Choices like cooking at home instead of eating processed meals. Choices like carrying a water bottle and sipping throughout the day. Choices like checking your blood pressure regularly, managing stress through breathing or meditation, and prioritizing 7 to 8 hours of rest each night. These are not radical acts, they're small investments. And like compound interest in a bank account, the benefits grow larger the longer you stay consistent. I want you to picture something. Imagine standing in a dialysis center. Rows of chairs, machines humming, patients sitting silently as tubes carry blood out of their bodies, filter it artificially, and return it. Some sit for hours, 3 times a week, just to survive. Their kidneys can no longer do the job. Many of them once believed they were fine, that nothing was wrong, until one day their doctor said, "Your kidneys are failing." And now they live chained to those machines. I don't say this to scare you, but to wake you up. Because the majority of those cases could have been prevented with simple changes made years earlier. Ask yourself, are you protecting your kidneys or are you gambling with them? Every sugary drink, every extra pinch of salt, every ignored glass of water, it all adds up. But so do the positive choices. Every time you drink water instead of soda, you protect your kidneys. Every time you cook a meal with fresh ingredients, instead of reaching for processed food, you protect your kidneys. Every night you choose rest over late night scrolling, you protect your kidneys. You don't need perfection, you need consistency. And here's one final truth. You don't get to choose whether your kidneys are important. They are. What you do get to choose is whether you care for them while they're still healthy, or wait until the damage is irreversible. The silent workers of your body are counting on you. Protect them now, so that in the years to come, you can live not just longer, but healthier, freer, and stronger. So I'll ask again, what will you choose today? To keep destroying your kidneys silently, or to protect them with simple, powerful steps? The choice is yours, but the consequences are forever. Have you ever walked into a hospital ward and noticed how quiet it feels? Almost as if the walls themselves are holding their breath. If you've ever been in a kidney dialysis center, you know what I mean. The machines hum, the patients sit tethered to tubes, some reading, some sleeping, some staring at the floor. The silence in that room tells a story. It's the story of what happens when we ignore the whispers of our kidneys until they can whisper no more. And yet, outside those walls, millions of people are unknowingly walking the very same path. One soda, one salty meal, one sleepless night at a time. Why do I paint this picture so vividly? Because most people only change when they feel pain, when the crisis finally arrives. But kidney disease is stealthy. It creeps in without drama. Your kidneys don't knock loudly, they tap gently. And if you dismiss that tapping, fatigue, swelling in the ankles, foamy urine, high blood pressure, it eventually turns into a silence, that demands a machine to keep you alive. So let's go deeper into the daily habits that either guard or destroy your kidneys. We've already touched on salt, sugar, water, and painkillers. But let's zoom in on lifestyle choices many people shrug off as harmless, yet they carry lifelong consequences. Take processed foods, for example. They're everywhere. Convenient, cheap, quick. But here's the truth: convenience has a price, and that price is your health. Processed meats like hot dogs, bacon, and deli slices are not just filled with salt. They're packed with preservatives, like nitrates. These chemicals don't just burden the kidneys, they increase the risk of cancer, heart disease, and metabolic disorders. When you reach for these foods regularly, you are slowly trading your kidney function for a few minutes of flavor and ease. Is it worth it? And then there's protein. Many people believe that more protein automatically means more strength, more muscle, more vitality. But kidneys filter the byproducts of protein metabolism. In moderation, protein is essential. In excess, especially from powders and processed supplements, it overloads the kidneys. Think of it as pushing a car engine to maximum speed every single day. Yes, the car can handle it for a while, but over time the engine burns out. High protein fad diets may help some shed pounds quickly, but they leave kidneys struggling in the background, often without the person realizing the cost until years later. Now let's consider alcohol. Some say it's just one drink to relax. But alcohol is dehydrating, and it alters the body's fluid and electrolyte balance. Heavy drinking damages the liver. And when the liver is compromised, the kidneys are forced to carry more of the detoxification burden. And so the two most vital detox organs are weakened together. When they fail, the whole body fails. Cigarettes deserve a mention here, too. People usually connect smoking with lungs, maybe with cancer, maybe with heart disease. But smoking directly harms kidney blood vessels, reducing circulation and accelerating damage. It's like slowly squeezing the hose of life until the kidneys suffocate. There's another factor many people never think about: obesity. Extra weight is not just about appearance. Every pound of fat tissue requires extra blood vessels, which means more blood for the kidneys to filter. Overweight individuals put their kidneys into overdrive. That overwork, combined with higher risks of diabetes and hypertension, makes obesity one of the most dangerous conditions for kidney health. So, what do we do with all of this information? Because knowledge without action is useless. Knowing the risks won't protect your kidneys unless it transforms how you live. And transformation begins with awareness, followed by intention, and finally by consistent action. Awareness means recognizing that every sip and every bite has consequences. Intention means deciding that your health is worth protecting, not tomorrow, but today. And consistent action means making small, steady choices that add up. Swap soda for water. Swap chips for fruit. Cook fresh instead of heating a frozen meal. These choices may feel insignificant in the moment, but when repeated daily, they build an unshakable wall of protection around your kidneys. Think of your life like a book. Each day you write a new page. If every page is filled with stress, poor sleep, processed foods, excess sugar, and neglect, the story will not end well. But if you fill each page with choices that nourish and protect, you write a story of strength, longevity, and freedom. Remember, kidney disease doesn't just affect health, it robs freedom. Dialysis schedules your life for you. It dictates your travel, your work, even your family gatherings. Every choice today is either preserving your freedom or handing it away. Let's talk about rest again, because people underestimate its power. Some wear exhaustion like a badge of honor, bragging about 4 or 5 hours of sleep as if it proves toughness. But toughness is not measured by how little you sleep. Toughness is measured by how well you care for yourself so you can serve and protect others. Sleep deprivation doesn't just make you tired. It raises blood pressure, increases stress hormones, and weakens immune function. All of these batter your kidneys. A single night of poor sleep may not matter, but years of it. That's a slow demolition of your health. Stress is equally underestimated. Chronic stress is like a leak in the roof. A small drip doesn't seem urgent, but over time it rots the foundation of the entire house. Stress hormones damage blood vessels, reduce kidney circulation, and fuel inflammation. People cope by overeating, drinking, smoking, or leaning on painkillers, all of which compound the damage. So stress management isn't optional. It's survival. Simple practices, deep breathing, meditation, prayer, walking in nature, aren't luxuries. They're medicine for your kidneys, for your whole body, and for your soul. Let's step back and ask a bigger question. Why do so many people continue destructive habits even when they know the risks? The answer is that the consequences are delayed. Eat a salty meal, nothing happens today. Drink soda daily, nothing happens this week. Skip sleep, and you can still show up at work tomorrow. But the damage is cumulative, and because it's invisible in the short term, people underestimate it. It's like termites in a house. You don't notice them at first. The house looks strong, the walls look firm, but inside, slow destruction is happening. By the time the damage appears, the structure is compromised. Your kidneys are that housed. By the time symptoms appear, years of silent destruction have already taken place. So I want to give you a vision. Imagine yourself 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 20 years from now. Do you see yourself hiking, traveling, enjoying your family, living with energy and freedom? Or do you see yourself tied to a chair in a clinic, exhausted, waiting for a machine to clean your blood? That vision depends on the choices you make today. And here's the empowering truth your body wants to heal. Give it water, and it hydrates. Reduce salt, and blood pressure improves. Control blood sugar, and kidney decline slows. Prioritize sleep, and the body repairs. The body is not your enemy, it is your ally. But you must stop attacking it with daily habits that undo its design. Let me share something that often strikes people deeply. Many kidney patients, once they're on dialysis, say, "If I could go back. I would have changed everything. I would have eaten better. I would have rested. I would have listened. Don't wait for that regret. Regret is heavy, and it comes with a price you cannot pay back. So, I'll ask again, what are you doing today that might be destroying your kidneys? And what can you change today that will save them? Because change doesn't start tomorrow, or next week, or after the holiday season. Change starts the moment you decide. One step, one choice, and then another, and another, until the pattern of your life shifts from destruction to protection. Your kidneys don't need perfection from you. They need protection. They need consistency. They need you to care enough today so that you can live freely tomorrow. The question remains, will you keep doing what's destroying them, or will you choose life, health, and freedom? The future of your kidneys and your life depends on that answer. Have you ever thought about how much your future depends on what you cannot see happening inside your body right now? It's strange, isn't it? We live our lives guided by what we see and feel, yet the most important processes of survival are invisible. You don't see your heart pumping. You don't see your brain processing. You don't see your kidneys filtering. And because you don't see it, it's easy to forget it, easy to dismiss it, easy to abuse it. But the body doesn't forget. Every choice you make leaves an imprint, and your kidneys record that history quietly, page after page, until one day the book closes. Think about children for a moment. When a child is born, their kidneys are still developing, still growing into full strength. Parents would do anything to protect their child's organs, right? They monitor fevers, hydration, nutrition. But somewhere along the way, as adults, we stop caring for ourselves with that same protective instinct. We treat our own bodies carelessly, almost as if we believe they can endure endless abuse. But kidneys are not indestructible. They are fragile filters, delicate yet powerful, and once broken, they cannot be replaced naturally. You can replace a car part, you can repair a roof, you can buy a new phone. But your kidneys, you only get two. And if they fail, the options are machines or the hope of a transplant. Now imagine standing on a beach. The waves come in, small and harmless. That's like eating a salty meal once in a while. But what happens when the waves keep pounding? Day after day without rest? Over time, the shoreline erodes, the sand disappears, and the land collapses. That's what happens when you eat salty, processed foods every single day. Each wave is small, but the destruction is cumulative. The shoreline doesn't vanish overnight. It disappears grain by grain. Your kidneys, under constant attack, wear down in the very same way. And here's something even more sobering. Did you know that many people don't even realize their kidneys are failing until they're functioning at less than 20%? By then, it's too late to reverse. Why? Because the kidneys are masters of compensation. They keep working silently, carrying the load, hiding the struggle, until they simply cannot anymore. And then the symptoms arrive: swelling in the legs, extreme fatigue, nausea, confusion, shortness of breath. At that point, the choices shrink dramatically. That's why prevention isn't just an idea, it's a necessity. Let's go back to sugar. Sugar isn't just about weight gain or cavities. Sugar is sticky. It sticks to proteins in your body in a process called glycation. Those sticky proteins damage blood vessels, making them stiff and fragile. Inside the kidneys, where delicate vessels filter blood, this process is devastating. It's like pouring syrup into a fine mesh filter. Eventually, it clogs, hardens, and fails. And because sugar is addictive, people keep going back for more, trapped in a cycle that drains energy and destroys organs. Yet the solution is so simple. Reduce sugar, replace it with natural whole foods, and your body responds almost immediately. Blood pressure improves, energy rises, cravings fade, and kidneys get a break from the toxic load. And then there's something people rarely connect to kidney health: exercise. Movement increases circulation, lowers blood pressure, balances blood sugar, and reduces stress. All of these factors protect the kidneys. When you walk, when you stretch, when you lift, you're not just strengthening muscles. You're keeping your kidneys alive. Sedentary living, on the other hand, is like shutting down parts of your circulation system. Blood stagnates, vessels weaken, toxins accumulate. Exercise doesn't have to be extreme. Even 20 to 30 minutes of daily walking is medicine for your kidneys. Let's talk about something uncomfortable: denial. So many people live in denial when it comes to health. They tell themselves, "It won't happen to me. I feel fine. I'll change later." But denial doesn't protect you. Denial doesn't change biology. It only delays action until action is no longer possible. The question is not whether kidney disease can happen to you. The question is, what are you doing today to lower the risk? Because prevention is the only cure that truly works. Once the damage is done, there's no turning back. And this is where choice comes in. Life is built on choices. Every time you reach for water instead of soda, that's a choice. Every time you season food with herbs, instead of drowning it in salt, that's a choice. Every time you take time to rest instead of sacrificing sleep, that's a choice. Every choice is a vote for your future. The future isn't built in a day, it's built daily. And every time you choose wisely, you're casting a vote for strength, for freedom, for vitality. Consider freedom for a moment. People don't think about how much health equals freedom until it's gone. The freedom to travel, to work, to play with your children, to walk without fatigue, to live without machines. All of it depends on the silent work of your organs. Once your kidneys fail, freedom is gone. Dialysis takes hours out of your week, every week, for life. It dictates your schedule, limits your choices, and drains your energy. Think about it. Wouldn't you fight with everything you have to keep that freedom? If so, then fight now before the damage takes it away. And then there's gratitude. How often do we stop and thank our bodies for what they're doing? You don't wake up each morning thinking, "Thank you, kidneys, for keeping me alive." But maybe we should. Gratitude fuels care. When you appreciate something, you protect it. When you take something for granted, you abuse it. Start each day by remembering the silent work being done inside you, and let that gratitude shape your choices. I want to challenge you with a thought experiment. Imagine that your kidneys could speak. Imagine they could stand before you right now and say, "We've been serving you faithfully, filtering your blood, balancing your fluids, keeping you alive without complaint. But we're tired. We're being overloaded. We're being abused. Please give us water. Please reduce the salt. Please stop flooding us with sugar. Please let us rest while you sleep." If your kidneys could speak, would you listen? Or would you silence them until they fail completely? The truth is, your kidneys are speaking. Not with words, but with signs. That swelling in your feet, that fatigue, that won't go away, rise in blood pressure, that foamy urine, those are whispers, signals that your kidneys are struggling. Ignoring them is like ignoring the check engine light in your car. You can keep driving, but eventually the engine seizes, and by then, it's too late. Here's another angle people don't always consider: genetics. Some people are born with a higher risk of kidney disease. Maybe their parents or grandparents struggled with it. Maybe it runs in their bloodline. But genetics are not destiny. Genes load the gun, but lifestyle pulls the trigger. You cannot control the family you were born into, but you can control how you live, what you eat, how you sleep, and how you manage stress. You can build a shield strong enough to delay or even prevent what might otherwise seem inevitable. And community matters too. When you surround yourself with people who encourage healthy choices, you're more likely to succeed. If your circle pushes processed food, sugar, and late nights, you'll struggle. But if your circle values health, you'll rise with them. No one succeeds alone. Health is contagious. So is sickness. Choose your influences wisely. Finally, let's talk about legacy. Your life is not just about you. Your children watch how you eat, how you live, how you rest. They learn from your habits. If you want them to grow strong and live long, give them an example worth following. Protecting your kidneys isn't just about extending your life. It's about teaching the next generation what true health looks like. So here we are at the core of the message. Stop doing what's destroying your kidneys. Stop pretending that small choices don't matter. Stop waiting for symptoms to wake you up. Start today. Start with one change. Water instead of soda. Rest instead of screens. Fresh food instead of processed meals. Stress relief instead of constant tension. Start small, but start now. Because here's the truth. The day will come when you either thank yourself for protecting your kidneys or regret that you didn't. And when that day comes, only one thing will matter: the choices you made when you had the chance. So once more, I'll ask you, not as a doctor, not as a speaker, but as someone who wants to see you live fully and freely. What will you do today? Will you keep destroying your kidneys quietly, or will you protect them loudly, boldly, and consistently? The answer belongs to you. Have you ever realized how much of your life is shaped by habits you don't even notice? We live on autopilot, grabbing the same meals, reaching for the same drinks, repeating the same routines day after day. And while it feels ordinary, those small choices are writing the story of your health. The truth is, your kidneys don't care about your intentions. They don't care about your excuses. They only respond to your actions. If you feed them salt, sugar, and stress, they wear down. If you give them water, rest, and balance, they thrive. The question is not whether your kidneys are working today. The question is, will they still be working tomorrow? And 10 years from now, and 20 years from now? Kidneys are like guardians at the gate. They decide what stays in your body and what must leave. Every toxin, every chemical, every byproduct of digestion. They filter it, sort it, and remove it. Without them, your blood would fill with poison in just days. Yet, most people never think of these guardians until they begin to fall. Imagine a loyal friend who's been carrying your burdens silently for years, and one day that friend collapses from exhaustion. Would you call that friend weak? Or would you finally recognize how much they've carried for you? Your kidneys are that loyal friend. They've been carrying your health since the day you were born. Let's look closer at something many people underestimate: medications. Earlier, we mentioned painkillers, but think beyond that. Certain antibiotics, when overused, can injure the kidneys. Contrast dyes used in medical imaging can be harsh on kidney tissue if not handled carefully. Even supplements, when abused, can strain the kidneys. More is not always better. Natural doesn't always mean harmless. High doses of certain vitamins, herbal remedies, or bodybuilding supplements can backfire. Your kidneys are forced to filter every single pill, every single powder. Just because it's sold in a bottle doesn't mean it's safe in unlimited amounts. Moderation and wisdom must guide every decision you make about what enters your body. Think, too, about blood pressure. Most people treat it casually, something the doctor checks once a year. But high blood pressure is like a hammer striking the kidneys over and over. Each beat of the heart pushes against fragile vessels inside the kidneys. Slowly, the filters scar, harden, and collapse. What's worse is that high blood pressure doesn't always make you feel different. You can walk around thinking you're fine while silent destruction continues day and night. That's why checking your blood pressure regularly is not optional. It's essential. Knowledge empowers prevention. And let's not forget diabetes, one of the greatest threats to kidney health worldwide. Sugar doesn't just damage blood vessels, it burns through them. Elevated blood sugar is like acid dripping onto delicate filters. Day after day, year after year, the damage compounds. Diabetic kidney disease is one of the top reasons people end up on dialysis. But here's the hopeful truth. When people take control of their blood sugar through diet, exercise, and medical support, kidney decline slows dramatically. It doesn't require perfection. It requires persistence. A little discipline each day becomes a shield against devastation later. I want to share something powerful about the body. It whispers before it screams. Fatigue, swelling in the ankles, changes in urination, rising blood pressure. These are whispers. If you ignore them, the body screams later with full kidney failure. The key to health is listening early, responding quickly, and respecting the warning signs. Imagine your car's check engine light comes on. Would you cover it with tape and keep driving? Of course not. But that's exactly what many people do with their health. They cover the signs with caffeine, with painkillers, with denial, and they keep pushing forward. But sooner or later, the engine fails, and the repair becomes impossible. Let's reflect on hydration again, because it's so simple and yet so often ignored. Clean water is the most powerful, affordable medicine for kidney health. Every sip dilutes toxins, eases filtration, and protects against stones. People often ask, how much water should I drink? The answer varies, but the principle is clear: drink consistently before you're thirsty, because thirst is already a sign you're behind. And replace, don't just add. Replace soda. Replace juice, replace alcohol. Water isn't just an addition, it's a replacement for what harms you. And then there's the environment we live in. Pollution, chemicals, pesticides, heavy metals, all of these enter our bodies through food, air, and water. Your kidneys become the frontline soldiers against these invaders. And like soldiers, they can only fight for so long without support. Choosing organic when possible, washing produce, using clean water sources. All of these choices reduce the toxic burden. You can't control everything, but you can control enough to give your kidneys a fighting chance. Let's shift to mindset. Because what's the point of knowing all this if your mind doesn't shift? Health is not just physical. It's mental. If you see healthy living as a punishment, you will never sustain it. But if you see it as protection, as freedom, as self-respect, then you will stay consistent. A soda is not just a drink, it's a small act of harm. A glass of water is not just hydration, it's a small act of healing. Sleep is not just rest, it's repair. Exercise is not just movement, it's protection. Change your perspective, and the choices become easier, even automatic. Think also about gratitude again. Gratitude is not passive, it is active. If you truly appreciate your kidneys, you will act like it. Gratitude makes you less careless. Gratitude makes you protective. Gratitude makes you mindful. Instead of complaining about what you cannot eat, be grateful for the power to choose foods that protect your life. Instead of seeing water as boring, be grateful that you have access to clean water, something millions in the world lack. Gratitude transforms sacrifice into honor. Let's return to the vision of dialysis. Not to scare you, but to remind you of the stakes. Imagine sitting in that chair 3 times a week for hours each time. Imagine needles in your arms, machines doing the work your kidneys once did silently. Imagine the fatigue afterward, the limitations, the dependency. Now imagine the alternative: drinking water, eating whole foods, sleeping well, moving daily. The contrast is staggering. One path costs little, yet offers freedom. The other path costs everything and chains you down. Which path will you choose? And legacy still matters. Your children, your family, your community, they are watching. They will inherit not just your genes, but your habits. If you live carelessly, they will think it's normal. If you live wisely, they will learn what's possible. Protecting your kidneys is not just about you. It's about leaving a trail of wisdom for others to follow. Imagine your child one day saying, "I saw how my parents cared for their health, and that's why I make better choices today." That's legacy. So let's bring this home with clarity. Your kidneys are not indestructible. They are not replaceable. They are not infinite. They are finite, fragile, and precious. Stop destroying them with hidden salt, endless sugar, dehydration, painkiller abuse, neglect of sleep, unmanaged stress, uncontrolled blood pressure, ignored diabetes, smoking, drinking, and processed foods. Start protecting them with water, whole foods, rest, movement, stress management, medical awareness, and gratitude. Start today. Because the difference between a life of freedom and a life of dependency rests in your daily choices. And though your kidneys may never shout for recognition, they are begging for your care. The question is, are you listening? So I leave you with this final question, the one that matters more than all the facts and warnings. When you look back years from now, will you be grateful you protected your kidneys, or will you regret that you didn't? The answer depends on the choices you make starting right now.